You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and I've realised that since this show started around 2 million years ago, there are quite a few new listeners who may be wondering just what on earth is going on. If you haven't listened to every single episode of Radio Nonsense, all 2008 of them, plus the 4,000 secret bonus episodes, and the 26 I released as special podcasts that I whispered into a tree and can only be found by people out on a woodland stroll on a particular Wednesday in June. Oh, and the bonus 987 episodes hosted by the banana clone version of me, Tiernan. And the 15 special episodes sponsored by Lemons Are Us. So if you haven't heard all of those, you might be listening to this every week and thinking, but I'm new here. What does any of this mean? Well, if that is you, or even you over there, you're welcome to, then you are in luck, as today's show, I've made a little introductory video, but actually an audio, for all of you new listeners out there. Hi, welcome to Radio Nonsense. Don't get us confused with Radio Squid Sense from the Comedy Club for Squids, or Radio Myth Sense from the Comedy Club for Myths, or Radio Lid Sense from the Comedy Club for Lids, or whatever the one is called from Comedy Club for Kids, but kids as in baby goats. I can't remember its name because it's too stupid. This is the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast, and there are no goats in sight. Apart from that one. I am your host, Tiernan, and I am a fully qualified, highly trained, professional human being. Not a baked bean, I have a face. I host this show because, well, I love it and no one else will. I have asked them, but they say things like, no way, or get out of my shop, or what is a podcast, can I eat them? And I have to say no, and then they follow me around all day trying to eat the podcast, and it's really annoying. Every week, Radio Nonsense broadcasts from Comedy Club for Kids HQ, a fully equipped, state-of-the-art hub of technology. Oh no, wait, sorry, I was thinking of somewhere else. This place is a bit rubbish, but it's where I live and where all your ears will live too when listening in to Radio Nonsense. Except when it's invisible, or all the walls have fallen down, or I'm actually in the snow, or falling through the air, or visiting a rival show. Or for tax reasons. The last one is definitely a joke. You'll find lots of those here at Radio Nonsense. That's what we do. So, that's the basics. What else do you want to know? Who is Linda? That's a great question, and I wish I knew. What are stinky hippos? Well, they are hippos that are extremely stinky. So stinky, in fact, that they regularly smell like someone left an old sock on top of a gone-off yoghurt, on top of a hot radiator, and then burped garlic all over it and turned it into a perfume that someone set on fire. We have absolutely loads of them here at Radio Nonsense. It's basically infested with them. What's that? This over here? Ah, well, this is Egbert, who passes on everything you send.
I hate this job.
Hi, Egbert. Welcome to all our new listeners. Do you have any post for me?
Of course, and I hate that too. Here's your stupid letters.
Ow, that went right up my nose. Which did mean I couldn't smell the stinky hippos. So thanks, Egbert. So helpful. This week there are 2 reviews on Apple Podcasts for the show, which is nice and sort of what happens every single week. One is from Ghost Girl Crazy, who I think is a ghost because even ghosts can listen to this show. By the way, Ghost Girl Crazy, how do you put your headphones in? Please let me know. Ghost Girl Crazy has sent in this amazing poem. I love stinky hippos because they make me feel like a blippo. Ah, that is beautiful poetry of exactly the kind you can expect to hear when you tune into Radio Nonsense. Thank you so much for sending that in. I'm guessing you mean Blippo, as in Blippi's miserable cousin, right? The one that doesn't entertain toddlers or wear colourful clothes, but just goes around dressed in grey shouting at pigeons. I think they're great. But yes, stinky hippos make me feel like that too. Thanks, Ghost Girl Crazy. Then there's this review from Laughing Ninja, a regular listener who says, I have joke. Hello, it's me, Laughing Ninja, writing in yet again. Can you please read this out? Sunglasses emoji, halo emoji, sad emoji, smiley emoji, monocle emoji, laughing sideways emoji, emoji in disguise, halo emoji, slightly upset emoji. Also, can you set up a competition to see what sort of weird emojis we listeners can send in, like shouting person, alien, pointing finger, lipstick, lipstick? See? It's so fun. Please do this, thank you. Also, read this out. Sninky, knockly, pliz, flump, sniggly, wiggly, piggle, wiggle, wow, wow, wow. Laughing Ninja, potato, 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 potato. Well, thank you, Laughing Ninja. Another one of the sort of letters that you can expect when you listen to radio nonsense. I'm not sure I could set up an emoji competition though, as that's just asking for more of you to send me stinky hippos and farting animals, and frankly, Comedy Club for Kids HQ is a bit too full of those already. Thanks to your email, I have now also got an alien face, 2 lipsticks and some potatoes, which isn't helpful as I don't know where to put any of them. Actually, potatoes are always helpful. So, new listeners, that's how the mail works, and every week I say this bit that's always the same, that if you have a question that you'd like to be answered on this show too, or anything else you would like to send in, then all you have to do is ask your whoopee cushion heads, sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. Or, as you know, we love to hear from all our listeners, so you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music or Spotify, or comment on the Spotify Q&A for each episode. And for any grown-ups out there that would like to help support this show, then we have the fine special Linda edition, which is just like this one, but with no adverts, and you get it a whole day earlier. They can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Acast Plus. Please do check out our website at comedyclubforkids.co.uk, and don't forget the competition I announced on last week's show to win copies of Invisidog by the very funny Stuart Heritage. Do go back and listen to that for details if you haven't already. See? Emails, reviews, competitions. Is there anything we don't do? That's right, free ice cream. We don't do that. And of course, we mustn't forget the most importantest bit, which you can be sure will always happen right about now.
The challenge builds while you build yourself.
Woohoo! It's Katie Pritchard, aka Katie who only drinks cups of grey tea, aka Cattles Prittles, inventor of Skittles, and as all our ferret listeners know you, meep, 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 meep. But of course, Katie, you are most well known for discovering the longest ever piece of spaghetti, for your training programs helping pirates to learn the other letters of the alphabet and not just R, and most famously for your best-selling cookbook, Recipe for Disaster, where you give people the exact ingredients and methods to ruin things. Katie, it's so lovely having you back on the show. How are you?
Meep, 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 meep. Thanks so much for having me.
It's a joy. It's a joy. I didn't realise you could speak ferret as well. I knew that's what they called you. I didn't realise you knew the ferret language yourself.
Yeah, we've got a strong bond, me and the ferrets. We love similar things like chasing balls around fields and running up and down logs and meeping and just general shenanigans. You know, making someone feel a bit uncomfortable, unnerved that we're there, and then adoring us. You know, that's what we're like, me and the ferrets.
That's lovely. It's funny when you describe it like that, because I think a lot of people would think, "Oh, I've got nothing in common with a ferret." But then you've described that, and I think most people enjoy all those things.
Yeah, I'd say, they're just they're misunderstood most of the time. When you sit down and talk with them, you realise, actually, we could be best buds here.
That's lovely, isn't it? That is lovely. I really like that.
It's a real motto for life.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if listeners know about this, but there is some people do was it like a competition we used to do where they put ferrets down their trousers?
Yeah.
And that used to be a big thing where people would throw ferrets down their, or they put ferrets down their trousers. I didn't know, what was it? Did the ferrets have to escape? And it was the first, I don't really know what happened after was it just uncomfortable or? I don't know.
We can never really know the thought processes of people from previous generations. But the good thing is now we just hang out with
Yeah,
ferrets and have a nice time. Um,
that's great. Because I did always think that as a ferret, like it's a weird thing, but at the same time, in the winter, probably quite snug and cozy.
yeah, I reckon get one on your shoulder, one on your head,
Mm.
one in your armpit, maybe.
Oh, that's nice.
Keep you nice and warm.
That's nice, actually.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'd enjoy the warmth as well.
That's a lovely way to have a pet, isn't it? It's like a pet and a winter. I don't know what's the word? Adornment. A winter adornment. Is that
Yes.
a big word? I didn't know I knew, but I feel like that's the right
Yeah,
one.
I feel like that's the correct use of the word as
Mm.
well. 100%. I used to have pet rats and I used to keep them in the hood of my hoodie. And
Wow.
they'd keep me warm. Yeah, it'd be nice. They'd sort my fringe out, they'd do a bit of hairstyling for me. I think one of them thought they were a human, which was funny to watch them walk around like me.
Wow.
Um, but that
How did it think?
it must
What did it do that was human? Like, what was the?
it was trying to walk on its back 2 feet. Uh,
Wow.
it would try and I mean, it would be in my breakfast bowl. If I ever ate breakfast near them, they'd hop in and steal some Cheerios. I'd be like,
That is cheeky.
yeah,
That is really
they're
cheeky.
good fun.
That is cheeky. I'd also Cheerios are almost like little armbands or little lifesaver rings for small animals.
Yeah, exactly. It was very cute to watch them eat it. So I'd imagine it's similar for ferrets,
Very
but
similar.
they probably less likely to fit in a cereal bowl, maybe pasta
Yes.
bowl.
Yes, I'd definitely go for a pasta bowl. Perhaps a sort of roasting tin, something like that would be perfect. I do have to. I mean, Kate, it seems like a very obvious question. I'm sorry if you've been asked it lots before, but
Mm,
many of our listeners probably will have seen the film Ratatouille, where
yeah,
which is based on a real story, obviously, a
yeah,
real life documentary film, Ratatouille,
yeah.
where a chef had a rat under his hat, and the rat helped him cook. You had two rats in your hood. Did you gain special
Mm.
abilities when they pulled your hair?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like my fringe, honestly, the reason it's curly now,
Mm.
because I used to have a rat helping me sort my fringe out, making it nice and flat,
Right,
making
right.
it look really good. And now I don't have that. And my hair just it does I mean, you can see it in and it's gone curly wazooly up
Right, it
here.
is super curly. It is all the
Yeah.
curls. Yeah, yeah.
And that's because I don't have my hairdressing rat to sort that out
Wow,
for me.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a shame. It would be it'd just be amazing having your own personal hairdressing rat just constantly in your hood.
Honestly, it
Yeah,
was. I can
yeah.
tell you from experience. So yeah,
Wow,
I'd recommend.
sounds great. It
If you
sounds
can get
yeah.
if you can get a creative rat, then great.
Right, sure, but some of them aren't creative.
They all have different jobs. I had one that was a hairdresser and one that was an interior designer. So the cage looked immaculate and my hair looked immaculate. That's just how it was. Very
Wow,
creative.
that's lovely. Well, lucky you. You've really had quite the
Yeah,
life.
thank you.
I'm very jealous. And have you been well? Obviously, hanging around with ferrets.
Mm,
What else? You've been busy. Have you been up to much?
just like chilling out in the trees, trying to make
Mm.
friends with squirrels. That's I
Oh,
think
right.
yeah, next bunch to hang out with. Because they can do cool things. They can climb. Some can fly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'll learn to fly.
Wow. Do they really? Because I'm going to get in trouble here, and I don't want to offend any squirrels that might be listening. I found out this week actually we had both a review from a cow and a review from a ghost. So there's
Oh,
every chance
right.
that squirrels are listening in too.
Yeah.
And I don't want to upset any squirrels, but the flying squirrels, they don't really sort of fly. They sort of glide, like they jump, and then they've got like a natural glidey thing, and they just, but they can't
Yeah, but
like flap their
I guess
wings.
I guess the question is like what why like gliding to me, that's soaring, isn't it?
Mm, yeah,
That's part of flying.
right.
So just let them have it.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, you're right. You're right. I feel why, and it's a bit harsh, isn't it? Like they're called flying squirrels. If I then come in and go, no, it's your gliding
Actually,
squirrels, it's not.
yeah,
They can identify how they want, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. And they do, like, they can go from tree to tree,
Mm.
or they can glide very gracefully down.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd love that skill.
it's pretty good, isn't it? Do you? Because a lot of squirrels don't glide. Am I a gliding squirrel is like a special type of squirrel, or is it like Flying Ants Day, where all squirrels can fly one day of the year? So they all get like there's just one day. It's like
All of a
no one
sudden,
in
they're
your
like,
face.
oh,
And, yeah.
my pouches came in, I can fly.
Yeah.
That would be chaos, wouldn't it?
There would be absolute chaos. Well, also like
It would be so funny. You'd be like, I can't see where I'm going.
There's
The
just all these
squirrels.
everywhere. They'd be flying into your head and flying into your knees, and
You'd be like, I need to get to work today, but sorry, boss, can't get to work. Sorry, teacher, can't get to school. It's Flying Squirrels
yeah.
Day.
Planes would be
There's no-
grounded. Like no
Yeah.
planes wouldn't be able to take off, and
And I struggle in just wind.
yeah.
Imagine if I've got squirrels flying at me as well. I'd take off.
Yeah, but it'd be good for that. Like I sort of feel like it's unfair that only ants get that day. Like it'd be nice if all animals had including us. Like humans could get one flying day, which I think would be chaos.
Yeah.
But if we all got one day of the year where we're allowed to fly,
Imagine that. Where would you fly if you had your Flying Human Day?
oh, that's hard. I mean, probably that's the thing. I worry this is what a lot of other people do, but I'd definitely go somewhere hot. I think I'd go like a migratory bird and just immediately fly.
But it would be like in the summer where everyone's trying to get to that one bit of beach, wouldn't it? But how many humans fly on Flying Human Day would it take to block out the sun
Oh, no.
of the beach? Yeah, and then you'd be like, there's or imagine all the whales. They'd be like, there's a swarm of humans above us.
Yeah, because that's it. Animals have sort of got a natural like ability. They won't overcrowd. They all know where they're going. They all migrate to different. Like all birds go to different places.
Yeah.
We'd need some sort of organization. Like someone would have to be given the job to allocate where you fly to each year.
Yeah.
And then you'd be really upset if you got given a rubbish location.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd all go to the same place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we? We'd all be straight down to Brighton Beach.
Yeah.
Well, how long does it, if a human was flying, how long would it take a human to fly to, like, how many miles per hour are we flying?
I suppose it depends on how windy it is, won't it? Because if it's like really windy, we'd get further. But I reckon you could be in France in an hour.
Do you think?
Yeah. Easy.
We should try it.
Yeah. We have to. How are you gonna fly? What are you going for? Are you gonna go for some sort of big cardboard flappy wings, or have you got like a big balloon? What's your method?
I think not cardboard because it's been raining a lot
Yeah,
recently.
true. Mhm.
So I think that's not going to be a good idea. You know those inflatable tube people that dance with their
Yes.
arms wiggling
I'm
in the
so
air?
sorry to the listeners they couldn't see your impression of that because it was amazing. The wobbly arm inflatable person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what I'd do is get inside one of them and try and put like double fan on, and I reckon we could get a good
Whoa.
updraft on that, and then everyone would move out the way because they'd be like, oh, you know, they're trying to get my attention, maybe I need to move out the way. That could clear a nice flight path for me.
It would be good. Would you? Here's my worry about that, right? Because you nearly always see those wobbly arm inflatable people outside like car dealerships or places where they sell. It's normally like they sell washing machines or cars or something big like that. And I worry that instead of clearing the way for you, they'd all flock towards you thinking they'd find a bargain.
That is true. Maybe I could add a sort of tail thing which has a little sign, you know, that they put on planes sometimes.
Yeah.
And it just like no electrical or motorized goods sold here.
Nice.
Just just flying
That's
or
nice. I like
something.
just flying at the end. It's like a
Just flying.
just flying.
Yeah. I'm not up to nothing but flying.
I love it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that, I reckon. What about
That's
you?
good. Well, do you know, I was we were listening the other day to the like a kid's version of the story of Icarus, like he had the big wings, and his dad just went,
Mm,
"Don't fly too close to the sun," and he didn't pay attention. He went too close to the sun, and all the wax
yeah.
melted. But until the point where he flew too close to the sun, he had a really nice time. Like
Yeah, he was doing all
if he
right.
just listened to his dad, right, which I recommend. Like that's what I tell my daughter all the time. Like, listen, this is what happened to Icarus. You should pay
Yeah.
attention to me. I'm clearly wise,
Yeah.
and this is not true, listeners. Don't pay attention to grown-ups. But you know what I'm saying is, maybe do the wing thing, but just don't go that high up. You know, keep it
Yeah.
low.
Know the boundaries of your flying implements
Yes,
first.
yeah. I think that's it. That's key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, tricky though. So it's a lot to. I my worry again is that you know, at least when you go on a plane, there's toilets on the plane, you get snacks on the plane. I don't
Mm.
think we'd be as good at flying by ourselves.
Well, if you're flying not too high, which we're not going to do because Icarus
Yeah,
showed us that
yeah,
that was wrong, you know, you could fly, you could be like, oh, there's an apple tree there, grab a little apple snack. Maybe there's what else grows on trees? A crunchy tree, get some crunchy
yeah,
bars.
yeah.
uh I don't really know what else. You know, you could
You know,
organize your flying per the snacks available in the trees.
yeah, it's a good idea actually. And if you've made your alliances with squirrels, you could hire squirrels to have different snacks at like a bit like marathons where people are on the side with a bottle of water
Yeah.
or a
They could give you a high five, some
yeah,
jelly
cheer you
babies.
on. It's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. The weirdest fact that I've learnt recently about animals, you might like this, is that a swift, the bird, a swift, when it
Mm.
when it flies, like so when it first flies, it's like a little baby and it has to be born somewhere high up because its legs are too rubbish, right? So if it lands on the ground, it can never take off again. But it is born high up, and then when it takes its first flight, it doesn't land for 3 years. So it just flies constantly for 3 years, and it sleeps while flying. It turns off half its brain, and then turns off the other half. It eats while flying. It only grabs like flying insects and things from tree. It just doesn't land for 3 years. How exhausting is
3
that?
years. So you want us to believe this bird for 3 years is flapping its little wings, no massages,
Mm.
no baths, just flap, flap, flap,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's flying with its mouth open to catch
yeah,
like those basking
yeah.
whale sharks thing.
Yes,
But through the sky,
yes, yeah.
I I don't know if I believe that.
Do you think it's?
Does anyone believe
You
that?
think it's what the Swifts have put out to make people impressed with
Yeah,
them?
they've done some good PR there.
Mm.
They're like, people aren't talking about us enough. We need to we need to be at the forefront of people's minds. We're gonna
Do you think?
make up some
Do you think they're secretly landing,
mind-blowing.
and when people spot them, they're like, "I'm not. What are you talking about? I'm a J, or
Yeah,
I'm a
I'm
something else." Yeah,
I'm 4.
yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm 4 years old. This is my first landing since I was born. I just don't know that it's physically possible. I'm not doubting the prowess of a Swift in any
Right.
way,
Sure.
but I'm just I think in the realistic world that we live in,
Yes. Yes.
can something keep going for 3 years non-stop?
I.
Even my computer, I got to turn off every few days.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't know anything that could just keep going. And I'm trying to think what. I can't think of anything. I can't think of any lifts. No, they probably would stop after
Even
escalators.
sundials sometimes fall over,
Yeah.
or there isn't enough
Hey,
sun.
the pyramids have kept going for thousands of years. Do they count?
Yeah,
I suppose they don't have
that's
to do
pretty good.
anything. They
Yeah,
just sit there.
I guess, yeah, that they're just chilling now. They're in
Yeah.
retirement. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right though, because those sphinxes, they're still at work
Yeah, that's
out the
true.
front.
Yeah, that's true. Guarding. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's not a good example. I'm trying to think of something that yeah, you're right. You're right. I think everything has to stop. Even for like a holiday, everything needs at least a weekend or a
Yeah,
yeah.
I think these swifts have they've put in your leg.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the other thing is it is only for their first 3 years, so they're only little toddlers, and at that age, toddlers do just keep, but then they don't actually. No, at that age, they often just fall asleep without any kind of prompting. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I need to contact the Swift Information
But
Service.
are they? Yeah, we need to get in touch with them because
Yeah.
I'm thinking if they're growing as well, what's going to happen is like one wing grows faster than the other wing, and then all of a sudden they're flapping in circles for a bit.
Wow.
It just doesn't sound like.
No.
It sounds like they've made it up to try and get on this podcast
My
to
worry,
be
Katie,
spoken about.
is that this podcast is going to go out. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with all the squirrels out
Yeah.
there, all the flying squirrels. You're going to get in a lot of trouble with the swifts.
I know. I'm not saying that I doubt their physical abilities of flying, but it's just 3 years is a long
Yeah,
time.
it is a long time. It is a long time. I wouldn't want to fly for that long. It'd be
No.
exhausting. Well, thank you, Katie, for for being on this show, and thank you for insulting Swift's integrity and honesty, and thank you. Obviously, I've got you here because you've been on before and you've expertly answered questions before, and we have got a brilliant question that I think you are the person that can answer it. However, I've actually got some new admin questions that need to be answered first. How do you feel about new admin questions? Are you interested in that?
I'll dip my toe in,
Okay.
and we'll see how we go.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll
Yeah.
see how we go. So these are I do have to ask these questions first. So, but I understand, these are new. I've only just started trying them out. So we'll see how they work. The first question I have to ask you is, what is this?
It's a great first question, and I'm going to dip my toe into this one,
Okay.
actually. This is anything you want it to be,
Wow.
essentially. It's the sunlight at your lunchtime window. It's the swift flying for 3 years. It's golden berries on muesli-based flapjack dipped in maple syrup. It's whatever you want it to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So
Yeah.
should I eat it then?
I mean, you could devour it in other ways, through your nose, through your ear, up through your beard hair.
Oh yeah,
You could
yeah.
let it go in that way.
That is the main use of beards. Actually, is that you often,
Yeah.
if you don't eat with your mouth, you just sort of put things near your beard, and then the little hairs work like straws, and just sort of
Just let it.
yeah, it's like
Yeah, if you watch your beard closely,
yeah,
you'll see bits of food gradually making their way inside.
Yeah. You can often see bits of food still left in the beard afterwards. That's
Yeah.
and that's why it's very handy. I have to say, it often just sort of gives your mouth a rest from eating. I quite like it. You can use moustaches, like if you grow them really long, you can use them like straws. Each end is like a straw.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
suck it up.
Yeah. That's... Wow.
Sometimes, like if like me, you're partial to eating cheesy nachos and guacamole. If you have a long enough moustache, it can hold the guacamole for you. So it just makes the process of eating it. Yeah, I'd recommend that. You need to get a good strong moustache going though for that.
Yes, yeah. Wow, I'd never even thought about that. I think moustaches are really underrated. Actually, I don't have. I've just gone for the full beard, but I think sometimes just having like being able to twiddle a moustache, I think would be really handy.
Yeah, for multiple things. Like if someone's lying at you and you're trying to catch them out, just one twiddle of a moustache, they'll be like, "Oh, they're on to me.
Yeah,
I better come clean." Or if you're out and you're trying to get a free cinema ticket to go and see um something at Sing 2, then you're at the queue, at the front of the queue. They're like, "Oh, we're sold out." One twiddle of the moustache to be like, "This is an important person. Let's get them
Yes.
in."
Yes.
So useful.
It's really useful, actually. It is something I do. I do think about. Maybe I went too far with the full beard, and I should have just honed the moustache and had like sort of face
Hey,
eyebrows. Yeah, yeah.
I think the important thing here is you can try anything.
That is true. That is true. As you point out, this is anything. You want
This
it to be. So
is,
maybe, yeah. Maybe my beard is a moustache, just a very complicated. Maybe one
yeah,
that's gone too far.
yeah.
Yeah,
One that's like taken over your face.
yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's power hungry moustache. Well, thank you, Kate. Thank you for answering admin question number 1. Admin question number 2. This is it's quite difficult. I hope this doesn't flummox you at all.
Okay.
But we'll give it a try. Would you rather everything you ate screamed when you chewed it, or all your shoes and clothes complained when you tried to wear them?
Oh, that's tricky, isn't it?
Mm,
I think this is a difficult one. I think I'd take the clothes complaining,
mm.
because I think that could be quite funny.
Right. Okay.
And then I think we could build quite a good rapport off of that, because it's not too dissimilar to how some people in my life interact with me.
Right. Okay.
So I could just be like, "What do you mean? What are you saying? Don't put me on like that. This is what I'm gonna wear." And they could be like, "No, don't wear us today." I'd be like, "Well, tough bananas, because I'm off to take this moustache out to the cinema today." And my clothes would be like, "No, we don't want to go outside." And I'll be like, "Well, these boots are made for walking, and that's just what I'll do."
Nice. I like that you've got to a song point as well, and I think
Yeah,
that is definitely a bonus, because I suppose the only thing that I would say about the clothes thing is they're going to always complain. Whereas if you
right.
were to eat, if everything you ate screamed, it would be unsettling. But
Yes.
when you ate it, it would stop screaming. So
Yeah,
it would only
but
be for that brief time, compared to the clothes constantly. Because like you'd be every moment you were wearing clothes, your clothes would be like, "Oh, this is awful. I can't believe. Oh, the weather's terrible today. I'm stuck to your stinky foot. Blah, blah, whatever. It would be endless.
it would just be like having friends
Right.
all the time.
Just really miserable friends.
Just, yeah. I reckon, yeah, I think the food screaming just sounds like a real horror movie scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, what if you have a headache and you're like, "Oh, I need a banana to fix this headache."
Mm.
And the banana's like, and then
Yes.
it makes it worse.
Yes, and my thing as well is like, what if you had like a bowl of peanuts, for example, or a bowl of crisps, and each one screamed? It would
That's
be
a lot of
really loud. It'd be
screams.
really loud.
You could never have a sneaky midnight snack without your parents
Oh
knowing
my
either,
gosh.
because as soon as you open the like treat jar, it'd be like,
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Oh no." So I think I'll this is going to be a popular choice
Mm.
of this particular would you rather.
Good.
I
Do you know what?
I
You've
don't,
justified it very well. I think you've justified it very well, and I think it does make sense when do you know what? It made sense already, but the midnight snack, ruining midnight
yeah,
snacks is really important. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can deal with a bit of complaining, but screaming
It's too
is
much.
a whole other, yeah, it's way too much.
Yeah, it's too much. And supermarkets would be unbearable.
Yeah. I imagine trying to watch a movie in the cinema, everyone's got popcorn.
Oh
That's at
God.
least a million screams per
Yeah, it
box.
is. It's too many.
At least. And they're not screaming in unison, are they? They're not going to make a nice choir.
Yeah.
They're going to be very disruptive.
Ye-
Poor ushers are going to be like, "Well, who am I going to shush here? the food or the people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard. You're right. I think you're right. Do you know, I think you've made absolutely right choice, and thank you for analysing.
Yes.
Thank you for analysing that question so superbly. Wow. Well, listen. Let's get to the main question, and I've got to just say that this question got sent in ages ago, but it got sent. I think it got mentioned on a website like, was it Audible or Amazon or one of the ones I've never checked. And poor Ben, aged 11, don't know 11 what, assume its years, might be weeks, might be ducks, we don't know. But there is every chance that Ben was aged 11 then, and now, by the time we're answering this, is 47 years old. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry to Ben, but it was hidden away in the so yeah. Hopefully he still needs to know this answer. Hopefully he hasn't gone off and done his own research out of being so angry with this show for not answering it. But you know, we'll see. So I just to give you that context, Katie. I hope that's, you know, we're righting a long term wrong by answering.
Yeah, I personally would also like to apologise to Ben as well for only just hearing about this question now, and that is through no fault of my own, because it's not my podcast. But
yes,
I just felt like Ben would appreciate another apology, and on behalf of all ferrets as well, Ben.
wow,
Meep 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 meep.
wow, that's big. Well, I hope Ben isn't too angry now. Really, this hasn't been answered yet, because I don't know how you could be angry after that. That's quite big, and even if it absolutely 100% is not yours or the ferret's fault in any way. Well, listen, it's a good question too. I sort of wish that, you know, this had occurred earlier. It's I think the world needs to know about this. But I'm gonna let me read it to you. It's so from Ben, aged, as I said, was aged 11, probably at least 80, 90 years old now. He asked, if a dinosaur is sore, where is it sore, and will it ever get better?
It's a fantastic question, Ben, and thank you for asking me this particular question. As we all know, I love dinosaurs for multiple reasons. So hopefully I'm in a good position to try and answer this for you. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Answer it. Yes, yeah. We just.
Sorry, Tin, and you just looked at me like you had the answer there, and I.
No, I've got absolutely no idea about it. Because also it's sort of, there's two parts to it. It says if a dinosaur is sore, so you're kind of asking, is it sore? I assume it's in the name.
Yeah.
Then where is it sore, and will it ever get better? And that's like 3 layers that I couldn't possibly begin to understand.
And the tricky thing here is that there's, I think, 3 answers going on here, because some dinosaurs do soar.
Right.
You know, like pterodactyls, they're flying around up there. So that like a pterodactyl dinosaur is soaring, and it soars in the sky.
Sure. And when it's Flying Dinosaurs Day as well, they all have a go. And it's soaring, but it's not soar in the soar. But, well, I don't know if Ben is asking about that.
Yeah.
Soar.
And then there's got to be some, like, we all know how animals use tools to build stuff. So maybe some dinosaurs do use saws to make dinosaur houses.
Oh my goodness. I never even thought about the saw, like a saw for sawing things.
Yeah. Well, because they've got to make their houses somehow.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine they'd probably be using a saw for that. So.
And also they need pretty big houses. They're going to have to saw a lot of stuff. They need some pretty good saws.
And also, I'd imagine, whilst they're soaring and building their houses, they probably want some entertainment, because they didn't have the radio back then. So some other dinosaurs might be playing the saw for them. So like have a nice little background while they're building all their houses.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So I guess for those ones, then they would be soaring in the fields, and that's where that would, and then it would get better because they'd have finished their houses, they'd have had a nice concert. Maybe one of them's built a theatre so they can go inside for the saw concerts.
Yes, yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that context too. That's very interesting. And I suppose the ones that are soaring in the sky, soar in the sky, and then it does. Well, I suppose it doesn't get better. They just keep doing it. Depends on if they like it or not.
Well, I guess, yeah, if they like flying, then it's going to get better. The more experience they have with flying, the better it will be.
Yeah, yeah. So that it may not need to get better. They might already yeah. So okay, so that's saw, and saw.
Yeah, and then if they do injure themselves and they get a saw, then I guess it's down to the soaring dinosaurs to assess if that saw can heal, or if they need to get involved with some saw maintenance, maybe cut a thorn out with their saws, or maybe they're like sawing around the head. If they've got a bump on the head, maybe they're sawing around applying a cold compress.
Yeah. Would it be up to the dinosaurs who saw what happened to treat it, right?
Yes, because that they'd know exactly what they'd have been able to
Okay.
see exactly what the problem was, and because they saw it, they'd be able to inform the dinosaurs who saw which bits to saw, and the dinosaurs who saw where they need to then continue to saw to apply any medication.
Right. That's very clear. Yeah, that's very clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, what you've really opened up here as well, that I don't think many of our... Well, I say I'm judging our listeners. Our listeners probably knew. I had no idea because I'm an idiot. But I just did, dinosaurs had a really complex medical... I don't know what the word is, expertise, and a very complex building abilities, and I suppose they just flew. Maybe they did it complicatedly. I don't know, but they were really advanced. We just sort of think of them as roaring around, rah, rah, eating things, but they were pretty ahead of their time.
Oh yeah, I mean, they were huge.
Yeah.
So they must have been up to some kind of shenanigan.
Yeah,
you're not being 16 foot tall and not getting up to shenanigans. You're going to be having a nice little look around, seeing what you can do.
Yeah.
T-Rexes are going to be like, oh, maybe I can develop something. I can get 2 saws and double chop houses up.
That's
got pretty good hands for that. Pterodactyls are like, well, it's nice flying up here, but I can also walk down there.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it was a right hoot back in the dinosaurs' time.
Yes. Yeah. Me too. Actually, do you think that when they were named? I don't actually know who named dinosaurs dinosaur. I don't know who did that. I don't know if you're aware. But they which do you think they were going for the saw, or the saw when they added that saw bit to the dino name?
I think they were. Bless
Sorry.
you. That's okay.
I nearly blessed myself. That was very weird. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I meant to say, excuse me.
But it would have been fair.
I got confused. So. Yeah.
I reckon they're named dinosaur by this guy called Dino. He lived back in the ancient Greek times. He was just walking around. He tripped over a big bone and he got a saw.
Wow.
And he was like, ouch, dinosaur. And they were like, wow, that's what we'll call this.
That's great.
This creature.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think that's how it happened. So it was actually about the saw of Dino that they got named. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. That is fascinating. And then ever since, people have been tripping over huge dinosaur bones.
That's how most archaeologists find things.
Yes.
They're just going out for a walk, they trip over, they look at what they've tripped over. They're not very observant archaeologists.
Yeah.
Their feet are. It's actually, they do all their exploration with their feet.
Sure, yeah.
And they just walk around, trip over, and then look at what they've tripped over. And normally, it's a huge historical find.
So lucky. Really, you've got to be really good at your job to know where you're falling over. You know, to really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, plan that.
They've really trained those feet to be seeking out the best and most interesting archaeological finds.
It's incredible. These are just incredible. I'm always in awe of archaeologists and just be able to find things in dirt. I've tried to find things in a sandpit before. It was very hard. I've lost things on the beach. No idea where they've gone. So the idea that you can know where to fall over in some mud so you find a dinosaur. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like they've got a bone identifying device in their toes that's like boop, 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 and then they fall over because their foot's like, there it is.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how archaeologists work.
I think, you know what, well, I asked you here to be an expert, Katie, and you have been, as always. I'm certain that is absolutely correct. I think out of everything you said, I'm not sure about. You said that Swifts are basically lying. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that legally we can say that on this show. But other than that, and I just say I'm sorry to any flying squirrels that were listening. But other than that, Katie, I thank you so much for taking the time to answer Ben's questions, even if he is now at least 200 years old. And possibly a dinosaur himself. We don't know. But thank you. That was really good, and I hope he enjoys his answer. If he's now not too old to hear it. If he's 100, he won't be able to now listen to this. So it could be tricky. Anyway, thank you for coming on the show. Have you got much going on next few days, years, centuries yourself?
I'm going to try and take my little feet out archaeologicalising around my neck of the woods, but normally I just tend to fall over live ducks that live nearby.
Right.
So I don't find anything prehistoric.
That's a shame.
But maybe tomorrow's my day.
Yeah, and I mean, also, you never know when people might need you to find a duck.
Yeah, well, that's easy.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a very useful service, so I hope that works out for you. Well, thank you again, Katie, and hopefully we'll get you back very soon.
Thank you for having me. Meep.
Because our sign stands for a warm welcome.
After the importance bit, it's time for more information. Who doesn't love information?
I don't!
Apart from whoever that is. Thanks so much to Katie Pritchard for taking time out of her work with various woodland creatures to answer Ben's very important question. She's just one of the many guests that we have on this show. Ben, I'm so sorry it took quite so long to get you an answer, but if you do have any complaints, please give them to a pterodactyl to eat, and then I'll never have to see them. But if any of you have any questions that you need to have answered, like Ben, hopefully quicker than he got his, then please do ask your whoopee cushion heads, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. You can also give this show a review in all the podcast places or write a reply for any of the episodes on the Spotify Q&A. And if your grown-ups would like to help support this show happening, they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition for a small monthly fee, and you'll get each episode a day early too. Don't forget to enter the competition I announced on last week's episode to win a copy of the very funny book Invisidog, and also please check out our website at comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And so, I hope you've enjoyed your visit here to Radio Nonsense, and I hope you come back soon, as there is so much more to discover. Like farting animals, which are kept safe on the mantelpiece and fed a daily special diet of lentils, baked beans, not human ones, and Jerusalem artichokes to keep them healthy and farty. Oh, thanks, small farting antelope. I hope our new listeners feel welcome too. And over there is... And at the end of every episode, you can be sure something terrible will happen and you'll be left with the show's signature, bye, while the terrible situation continues to happen and then is never ever resolved. Then the next week, it starts right back all over again. So I hope you feel like you belong here at Radio Nonsense, because you do. Unless you're 100 years old, in which case it's not for you and you need to stop listening right now until you're 101. But if you aren't 100, I do hope you'll come back, as there's something new to find out with every listen. Like, for example, just what is this? Oh no, what is that? Run away, everyone! Run away! Bye! You have been listening to
Comedy Club for Kids presents.
Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! It's the end.